and welcome to Pharma Television News Review here at the Japan Biotech Forum in London. On this show, I have Takumi Kawabe, who is president and CEO of a biotechnology company called CanBas, based in Japan. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Takumi-san, your company was founded about 10 years ago. Tell me a little bit about the origins of CanBas.
I always wanted to find a cure for cancer patients since I was high school. And I did research in the United States for 5 years, and after that I came back to Japan, Nagoya Medical City University, where I found one key compound to disrupt cell cycle G2 checkpoint, and we spun off from university.
And at that time, it was the early days of venture capital emerging within Japan.
Yes.
So was it difficult to set up?
Yes, actually, we are the first to be invested by one venture capital which is specialized for the biotech industry. So we are one of the first to be invested by Japanese investors. Yeah.
As you say, the origins happened 10 years ago. You got funding. I also understand you got funding from business angels as well. Mm-hmm. Is that correct?
Yes. At that time, we met the angel, fortunately, a rare angel in Japan, and the investor. And those two lead us to have found the company.
Now, what is the importance of the G2 checkpoint? Tell us where significance is.
It starts at the beginning of year 1990, where people found that cell cycle, there's two checkpoints, G1 and G2. And in most cancer cells, G1 checkpoint is disrupted, or it's not working. That's why tumor cells are highly dependent on G2 checkpoint. On the other hand, normal cells has healthy G1 checkpoint, which is the major checkpoint for DNA damage. That's why if you disrupt G2 checkpoint, you can selectively kill cancer cells, but not normal cells.
So it's a very important target.
Yes, obviously. That's right.
Being a biotech company in Japan, which had an evolving venture capital business, how is your journey? Tell us how things have gone in the last 10 years for CanBas.
In the Japanese investors, they invest little amount of money to each time. So that's why we had more than 50 companies, venture capital companies, to invest us. So it was very difficult to have much fund each time. So every time we raised fund, it's 2 years worthwhile fund, which is not that much. And we cleared our milestone, which we set to investors. And each time we cleared milestone and get another fund, and that was what happened.
So the products that you've got currently, for example, you've got 501, CBD 501. Where are the origins of those drugs? Are these ones you discovered yourselves, you've in-licensed, you've obtained from universities?
Everything's inside us. I did the research in a school, university, and we found a lead compound which disrupts cell cycle G2 checkpoint. It was designed by the molecule which is involved in G2 checkpoint. But after that, we did the cell cycle phenotype-based optimization, which means we don't search for single molecule for our compound. We just try to see the phenotype where cell cycle G2 cancer cells does not accumulate G2, but normal cells does not be affected by our compound, which basically what we call phenotype-based, cell cycle phenotype-based optimization. That gave us CBP-501, and other pipelines are similar way to screen.
How are you pursuing 501? Because one stage you had an alliance with Takeda. There is also, I understand, different ways of using 501 in relation to other anti-cancer products. So could you tell us a little bit more about what the story is there?
After we found CBP-501, we found that it works very well in combination with cisplatin, but not with other cytotoxic drugs. And it actually enhances activity, but does not increase adverse activity. So that's why we focused on cisplatin combination. And since we have very great scientific advisory board member, and those led us to do clinical studies by ourselves. So everything has been done by ourselves. even while we are collaborating with Takeda, the clinical study was managed by us. So nothing has been changed. We have been managing study, screening, and preclinical study and clinical study by ourselves. That's what our scientific advisory board members suggested us to do. For these cancer drugs, the person who found that should bring that into clinic. That's what we are doing.
And of course, Takeda terminated the agreement with you. Was that for clinical reasons or was it just for their own strategic reasons?
Right. That was the strategic reason for the the big company. There was no concern about safety and efficacy in clinical studies. That was press released by Takeda and us together.
Like all biotechnology companies, trying to raise money is difficult. Economic conditions for raising money are tougher than they have been before. So how does a company like CanBas deal with that type of situation?
Right. It's really tough even in Japan, and many companies are having trouble with that. But fortunately for us, we have enough cash to complete these phase 2 studies and running companies at least 3 years, which is very good. We had been very successful in raising fund, and as well as we get some fund from Takeda, that we are really fortunate on that side.
So what is the strategy for CanBas going forward?
The best thing is to have the international partner at this stage before the end of phase 2. But at least we want to find a partner to do phase 3 study together, or even we could license out for phase 3. It depends on the economic conditions.
Takumi-san, thank you very much indeed for coming on the show.
Thank you.